Fox Corp president Rupert Murdoch is done with Ron DeSantis. Now, on Tuesday, Rolling Stone reported that Murdoch and top Fox executives have grown increasingly displeased with the DeSantis campaign's perceived stumbles, lackluster polling, and inability to swiftly dethrone Trump. I wonder which throne that they're talking about.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times.
Maybe not that one. But okay. Look, as DeSantis' polling continues to slip, Fox pundits have been asking things like, hey, Ron, why does your campaign suck so much?
There's something about you that's not connecting for whatever reason, not connecting with the voter.
I'm wondering what's going on with your campaign. There was a lot of optimism about you running for president earlier in the year. What happened?
You're down over 30 points to Trump. What's your strategy for catching up?
Listen, we like the guy. We got to do an intervention. He doesn't have the campaign skills. He is, talk about failure to launch. He's just sinking. And I don't think he has to drop out. He's just going to fade out and just wither and die on the vine there.
I think Ron DeSantis' biggest problem, his biggest problem is people are getting to know him. And it turns out his record in Florida is kind of hurtful to a lot of people and hateful. And it's not resonating. He also, from every report, seems to be a weird guy with voters. And when you're in Iowa and New Hampshire, you have to talk one-on-one to them. And I don't think he does that really well.
It's kind of a weird guy, you know, the failure to launch. We need an intervention. Okay. And look, that last clip, by the way, the guy makes some pretty good points. Ron DeSantis has run his entire campaign on hating gay people, hating trans people, and fighting wokeness, whatever the hell he thinks that means.
Stupid, the wokers.
Woke.
Okay. So now, look, these issues that Ron DeSantis is running on, nobody really cares about it. Most people don't, unless you're one of those like terminally online losers like, Matt Walsh. Those kind of people, oh, they care so much about this stuff. Oh, my God. But you know what? Nobody else, no actual regular human beings rank trans issues as, it's the top issue. We got to keep the transes out of the bathrooms. And, oh, my God, they're transing our children in the schools and stuff. No. Nobody thinks that's a real issue because it's not. And nobody is voting based on that. In fact, a lot of Republican candidates who ran on this stuff, they lost. And they lost big time. Okay, so look, not only that, but he was also right in the fact that the more people find out about Ron DeSantis, the more people dislike him because he's a weirdo. And he's a hateful person. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of polls, and you're going to love these. According to 538's National Poll Tracker, DeSantis currently has an average favorable rating of just 35.5%. His unfavorable rating is 45.9%, which gives him a net favorability score of minus 10.4. Minus 10.4. Oof. But wait, this one's better. Because there was another poll taken by the Daily Mail and TIPP. So they asked, and I don't know why they asked, but they asked about the favorability rating of trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney. You know, the woman who received a can of Bud Light with her face on it, just one, made a video about it, and the entire right wing imploded, did constant videos on it, were obsessed with Dylan Mulvaney. In fact, look, not only were they obsessed with her, but they were also downright creepy and dangerous. Threatening people, calling in bomb threats, death threats, stalking Mulvaney. I mean, just really absolutely unhinged stuff. But according to this poll, the first nationwide poll of Dylan Mulvaney's favorability ratings actually shows that 50% of the American public who know who she is hold a very favorable view of her. That's 23%, or a somewhat favorable view, 27%. Only 42% viewed her unfavorably, which actually gives her a net favorability rating of +8. Dylan Mulvaney, who has, again, been the target of a massive right-wing hate campaign, polls better, is more favorable to the American people. That is according to a Daily Mail poll than the aggregate of polls about Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis, more unpopular. That's awesome. Oops, turns out that, if you make a campaign when you're hating on trans people for no reason, the average person is going to hate you. And be like, man, why are you obsessed so much with hating trans people? What the hell did they do to you? Now, Ron DeSantis' campaign should be looking at this and being like, whoopsie, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should actually have a robust economic agenda. Or, lie about having a robust economic agenda and stop focusing on the wokes and all that stuff, but they're not going to do that. Now, as for Rupert Murdoch and the Fox News executives, one insider told Rolling Stone, quote, "They are transactional and can smell a loser a mile away." Ron DeSantis, loser. Loser Ron. There we go. Loser Ron. That's something that Trump should loser Ron. Okay, so now there's another thing that's happening in Florida, by the way, which is another example of how Ron DeSantis is a terrible governor and is not doing anything. In fact, there's a lot of different things. I talked about his immigration bill having a massive backlash where you have immigrants that are leaving the state. And of course, you have the agricultural industry that is falling apart as a result of that. But there's also an insurance crisis. Now, look, this insurance crisis affects homes. It's mainly homeowner insurance, but it can also affect other types of insurance like auto, for example. And this is actually more related to climate change and not exactly the fault of Ron DeSantis. He didn't start it, but he certainly hasn't done anything to help it. On Tuesday of this week, Farmers Insurance announced that it would stop offering policies in Florida, including home, auto, and umbrella. The news of farmers leaving the state amid reports that premiums in Florida have reportedly surged by more than 200% since Ron DeSantis was elected and governor in 2018. Has he done anything about that? Nope, but he sure has spent a lot of time going after the wokes. On average, Floridians are currently spending about $4,200 a year on property insurance compared to the national average of approximately $1,700, according to the Insurance Information Institute. These, the lack of doing anything to help out the average person in Florida is obviously having a huge detrimental effect, or will have a huge detrimental effect, on the housing industry, the housing market in Florida. You might want to address that instead of, going out and talking about the wokes and all that, and then also, running for president. You might want to actually focus on the things that are happening in your state. And by the way, a lot of this also, at least it would be, I'd be remiss to mention that climate change plays a factor in this as well. So obviously, climate change fueling stronger storms, hurricanes hitting Florida, causing massive amounts of property damage. One negative effect of climate change is the fact that, we're having more storms more often, stronger storms, longer hurricane seasons, more destruction, et cetera, and insurance companies are saying, we're not going to make a profit if we continue to insure people in Florida. So bye, we're leaving. Of course, that leaves people whose homes are devastated in Florida without any sort of recourse. So again, it's a disaster, and Ron DeSantis isn't doing a goddamn thing about it. Now, all of this together is why Murdoch, Fox News, none of this like Ron DeSantis are like, no, we're done with you. We're done with you.
That's it. See you later.
Sorry, but not sorry. Now, that said, Murdoch, without Ron DeSantis, who, by the way, is still polling at number 2 in the Republican primaries, behind Donald Trump, well, they haven't settled with Trump yet. In fact, according to the New York Times, Murdoch has privately told people that he wants to see someone else. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin entered the race. Youngkin, he's like, I'm not interested, but, maybe. Maybe he will. Who knows? So it's pretty early. We don't know if anybody else is going to jump into the race. There's still some time, plenty of time. But right now, it's looking like the Republican base has essentially settled on Donald Trump. Whereas Fox News, if someone doesn't come in and overtake Trump, if possible, then Fox News is going to have to settle with Trump, and they probably will.